I'll start right here.
This is funny because I can't wait.
So I'll read a couple paragraphs, then we'll get into it. So a Milwaukee Children's Court judge and father of two with ties to Drag Queen Story Hour was arrested after allegedly being caught with videos showing child pornography.
You almost read that.
I don't know if I can read
Oh,
that.
my God. Well done, my boy.
The reason why I remember was because I read this at the beginning with Doc to get prep, and I made a mental note like, don't read that.
No, for some reason, all I could think of was Matumbo coming like in your mind and just blocking the fuck out of you saying that, saying, no.
No. Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Brett Blom, 38, was charged with 7 counts of possession of child pornography on Wednesday, a day after his arrest. Each count carries a maximum fine of $100,000, 25 years in prison, or both, with each as a mandatory minimum sentence of 3 years of initial confinement. Bloom is the former president of the Cream City Foundation, which hosts Drag Queen Story Hour, a children's event in which drag queens read to children. And then it gets into opinions right here. The allegations are alarming. Welcome Mayor Tom Burrett said in a statement, the reports of the arrest come as a complete surprise.
Oh, really?
I'm not saying. And this gets into, I guess, the app that was. It's an app for it.
Look at his name. Look at his name. Look at his name. Look at his name.
Bloom uploads several images of child through a messaging app in October. Where right here? In February, after receiving a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that Kick Message. Oh, they use a Kick messaging app. User. I don't want to read that.
Dom Master
BB.
Dom Master, baby.
Wow.
That's fucked up, yeah.
Uploaded videos consistent with child pornography through the apps 27 times. So, I don't know if we've ever talked about, I feel like we have, the whole drag queen story time reading, and I've always had an issue with it personally.
Did you find it childish?
Dissociate the same conversation.
See,
Damn, you got me.
When do we stop? That's my problem. When is it not childish?
The notion is, the reasoning I would argue is childish, but you're right. The actual situation of it isn't childish.
It's an adult situation.
Yeah, I understand now. But there's still
it's childlike. He likes children.
Oh my gosh.
Nah, you're stretching, bro.
Oh, why? Why is it a stretch? He's immature.
But what has he done that's immature in this situation?
He likes children still. He's attracted to children. These are alleged now. We don't know if he's done this for sure. You can
say that's immature because having an attraction for children is a lack of maturity. Like, you haven't matured past a certain point. That would be my argument. I don't know if it would be a biological argument, but I feel like if you have some kind of attraction towards a child still, it's either one, something wrong with your, like, you got some, like, something, I don't know, like, I can't explain it, either trauma or something wrong with you in the head, or two, you have yet to,
when you were a kid, like, you weren't looking for pornography of your peers. Like,
huh?
What'd you say?
When you were a kid, you weren't looking for pornography of your peers.
But you were probably looking at your peers.
Yeah, to be like friends and stuff like that. But like you weren't looking for them for pornography.
Like, what do you mean looking for? Like,
he's saying a kid. He's saying, okay, I get Doc's argument. I actually do. Doc's saying what he was saying in the last topic is that what a kid would also do something similar in that situation, wrap his legs around the girl, take the sexual connotation out.
Okay.
Whereas a kid wouldn't be looking for porn, correct? As an adult would be looking for child
let alone predatory porn, which is what, this person is.
But my argument to that would be,
okay,
yes, they would. Because I remember kids looking at, not looking for kid porn. I get what you're saying, because it's not readily available. But like, I remember being a little promiscuous at 8, 9, 10. You know what I'm saying? Just understanding that I like girls and stuff like that. Like, I remember being ignorant of what was right and wrong. Like, I remember things happening at night time.
That's too anecdotal, though.
I
feel like that's too anecdotal, though.
No, but I'm saying I get what Doc is saying, though. Like, a kid wouldn't be looking for child porn, especially, like he said, predatory child porn. But my point is, when you associate what Deshaun Watson did with, or allegedly did with, childishness, you allow this argument to now use that point. And that's my problem. So, like,
It's a weak opportunity, but I guess.
But it is the opportunity. You can say what you want. It's weak as hell, or whatever. You can say it's weak or whatever, because the only problem is now we're talking about kids. So now we have a actual.
Been toppled for less.
Exactly. But now we have an actual issue with it, because, I mean, we always have an issue with it, but it's kids, so it's a little bit more sensitive. You know what I'm saying? But this person actually didn't meet any of these kids.
It was just possession of
the pornography, alleged possession of the pornography. So you can call it curiosity, which is childishness. That's what I'm saying. When you associate those small attributes or whatever with childishness, and then you just categorize what he did as childishness. It's childish when you just put the legs around the neck. That's immature. But when you couple it with oral sex, there's no room to call it childish anymore. Or there's even a little bit of room to call this childish. I don't care if it's 1%. This should never be associated with childishness.
Yeah, the word this word childish doesn't come to mind with this, but the reason why word childish comes to mind with the Watson thing is because why wrap your legs around her head when you could just
people get blowjobs that way in porns all the time.
When you could just grab her by behind the head or behind the neck and just put her down. Like, there's the reason why he chose a childish action over a more aggressive action. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. Is I feel like noteworthy. Like,
I think it was based on
that's
her
why
position.
Doc and I think in that moment he was probably giggling and laughing. Like,
I don't
he was
think
like,
so.
Hee ha ha, like, yeah, suck my dick.
I think he was suck my dick, and I think she was probably kneeled down, and he was getting a massage on his knee or his leg or whatever it was.
If it was that much seriousness, then why wasn't his hand? I don't know. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Now we're just getting to the point where, like, it's just
we just don't know.
We just don't know.
But yeah, in my mind, obviously we're talking some scenarios. Yeah. In my mind, he's on the chair, the table.
Pretend they got tinfoil hats
on. He's on the
now.
table, right? She may be massaging his knee or working on something with his knee. Mm-hmm. Deshaun has knee problems. So she may be working on something with his knee, bent down. All he has to do is lean back and put his legs on her neck. I don't think she had to be in a position that was available for him to put his legs around her neck. He didn't. She didn't.
They're alone.
You get what I'm saying? But for me to get my legs around a girl's neck, let's say we're both standing up. I don't want my legs around your neck. Do you think that they would have described the scenario, the things that led up to her getting the legs around the neck if he forced her to get the legs around the neck that way?
Honestly, the article doesn't say that like he was lying down and stuff like that. That's why when I read that one line out of context, I immediately thought of Sonya Blade with her legs coming up from the ground because she does like the fucking somersault forward. That's why I said it.
Oh, you thought he did it from a stand-up position?
Yeah, because it doesn't say whether or not like they do it from a fucking bed or anything. That's why I said that, and I was like, oh shit.
Damn, that just made this conversation.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit's childish. I fucking said that, and I knew when I said it that shit was childish.
I'm not gonna say it,
but
I would say that's very athletic though. If he was able,
like if there's anybody that could do it, like
or if he just jumped up, what vertical would he have to have?
I'm sorry. I would have to stick to my argument though. I still associate a little childish to it because at that point he's reenacting. It's like those anime weebs. Doing a Kamehameha. He's doing a Sonya Blade. Like, why?
Okay, so you guys, do you think he grew up on anime?
No. I'm just being. Well, he probably did, honestly.
I just think he did some fucking Big Brother bully shit, and that's why it just went that way. But it was like not cool.
Okay.
It's a deep. I don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
And the difference with this is deeper. Like, if we're talking about a little dark, like you said, the other one is, or evil this is a deeper one, and it's like I
think when you get to this
so
level,
deep,
childishness
I agree
is out of it. That's what I feel like. For example,
but the other one.
So if we were doing,
it's still rape. Like, how is
exactly? So if we were doing a color palette, right, of childishness,
gosh,
and we were doing from white to black, there would be no gray. This would be the first black.
Well, for me, childish is a negative.
There's no light.
That's the thing. Like, childlike to me is the positive of that. Childish is the negative. So whenever I've always heard childish, I've always just thought of a negative. So I mean, if you really, really want to reach for this being childish in some way, then yeah, you could use it because it's technically in the negative. I've
heard childish. Okay. Let me put it like this. In my experience, I've heard girls call a lot of guys childish. Oh, he's so childish. Oh, he's so childish. He's so immature. He's so childish. I've never heard anybody call a rapist childish.
Well, I'm not saying, like I said beforehand, that just the action of wrapping the legs is just.
But you can't take out the oral sex. Why are we taking out the oral sex part?
I'm not taking that.
Then it's no longer
specifically if I view this as a Magic playing Magic the Gathering, there's a stack in all this action. The first stack was in response to you massaging my leg.
Because we laughed so fucking much.
In response to you massaging my leg, I'm going to wrap my legs around your neck. Then in response to you wrapping your legs around my neck, you're going to have your reaction, whatever that be. And then I'm going to then respond by
minus two.
And I'm going to respond by demanding you oral sex me. And
but the oral sex already happened.
But I'm talking about in the stack though. Moment, that one card in that moment was when we play.
But the oral stack was
really? That's what you're doing?
But the oral stack already landed, Gene.
No, it didn't.
Read it. It said I was forced to provide oral sex. Then he wrapped his legs around my neck and asked me,
All right, let me go to history.
I'm telling you, the oral sex had already landed in the stack, Gene. The oral sex also already there.
I think honestly you could attribute childish to a rapist, man. Like if I fucking did that shit to you with a party hat on, I mean it's kind of childish, like.
But then that's what I agree. Okay, if
it's still evil and it's still like
yes. So is this pedophile?
Shit, I don't know, man. Like you say that, but I don't agree. Like what child looked for rape porn of their peers when they were kids? Like
no, okay, I feel like you're misinterpreting the sentence here. It's saying what happened in the whole action. The woman was forced to perform oral sex. Then it describes the moments of it. He wrapped the legs and told her to perform the act.
Okay. I thought I read it as Watson.
So that's why I'm saying in the stack moment, his choice to wrap the legs, that choice itself, nothing past that. Everything
and then
is
my
just
answer
childish.
to that is
like, why did
my answer to that is there's a lot of porn videos. A lot of porn videos.
He watched a lot of porn videos.
A lot of porn videos where that is how guys get their dick sucked. There's a lot of guys
and that's childish because that's a fantasy. Because then he let his fantasy.
No, it's not. It's a kink, Gene. It's a fetish. That is not childish to have a fetish, Gene. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What are we arguing here? That this was childish?
I tried to start a different conversation and get out of this, and we pulled back to this.
But the argument here is that there was some childishness in this. But then I said,
the choice of wrapping the legs.
Then I say, okay. The choice of, God forgive me, I'm going to get canceled for this. The choice of a man to dress like a woman and want to read fairy tale books to kids is childish to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I knew you were going with that. I agree. I do.
Doc, I saw you look. Doc, I saw that look just now. I saw that look, Doc. You forget we can see your face. I'm just saying, there's some level of childishness in all of it then if we're using that as the definition of childish.
Honestly, I would agree to that to a degree.
That's my problem.
But the problem in certain things is like, do we really want to argue?
Yeah, I think
childish.
I think you really.
Is that your point?
That's Deshaun Watson gonna go to the court. You talking about that childish ass blowjob?
No, I just think that you have a hard time accepting the discerning children from innocence, like taking them away from that, and I don't think you were willing to do it, and that's why you're arguing.
No, I'm discerning children from a blowjob. There's a blowjob involved.
Yeah, that's not innocent.
But we're not talking about. But we're not talking about the blowjob itself. We're talking about the act.
They're together. They're stacked. No matter how you put it, they're together. Oral sex. Wrapped his legs around. Wrapped his legs around. Oral sex. No matter how you put it, they're together. Once the oral sex is involved, it's part of the wrapped legs. We can't separate it as, oh, he was childish and then he was evil.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah, we're not saying that. I'm saying you can be a childlike and be evil, or childish and be evil, and that's where I changed the connotation of it, where it's just like, to me being childlike has a sense of innocence to it. To me being childish has a negative quality to it. And like you said, it's just a synonym for immature. So there's an immature way to perform evil, and that's what that man did.
Okay, so the pedophile also didn't. He did it. He was immature in the way he went about. Like, was he mature in the way he handled?
You could argue a little immaturity because he was still engaging in the exchange of pornography, like nudes. Like, I don't get nudes anymore. I don't know about y'all,
They don't do shit.
I don't even ask for that. I that's what I did when I was younger. Like I asked girls for nudes all the time. Like, hey, yo, send nudes.
That's a good point.
That's why the joke was send nudes. So you technically could argue a level of childishness or immaturity to it. And then when you get older, when you don't have it anymore, like you still latch on to that. I guess that thrill that whatever.
I think I get what
and
Doc
younger
is saying.
girls
Doc
are more
is
willing
actually
to
right.
do that than older girls.
Doc is right. I'm having a problem with I'm having a problem with the innocence thing, but he is right. But where I feel he loses me is when you're an adult. When you're doing things as an adult, right, or a child, and you do something, yeah, it's childish. You can describe something an adult does as childish because a child would do it.
So you just have to think there's a line, and once you
become
cross that line,
adult,
you can't go back
right?
over that line.
And then you
that
factor the level
childish.
of darkness in it. I don't think we can. I mean, it's just a word, but I just still don't. I'm not comfortable with using the word childish when you're accompanying something with dark intention to it. And like you can even you forget about the legs wrapped around it. The blowjob itself or the forcing of oral sex.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that. That's why I keep trying to say like specifically.
But then that means you're
separating
the two.
In the moment, just for the sake of conversation, yeah. Like, why did he choose to wrap his legs? That's weird. That's weird. And if he did do it and just was like, suck my dick, why did that? That's weird. Why didn't you just, like I said, put the hand?
But that's a preference.
And that's why I said maybe it's just I don't understand that because I just can't see myself doing that. That's why there's probably that disconnect because that's weird. That's why I guess ignorantly, naively, whatever, associate childish to it because that's something I guess I would have done to my brothers when I was younger, trying to be just an older brother, annoying, pester them, bully them,
but
annoy them.
I can't let y'all use the example of your brothers because there's a blowjob.
It's more so like the source material for the idea of it. But like I do get what John's saying though, because at some point you have to draw the line to up the severity of the situation so that you can just be like, dude. But like at the end of the day,
because I'm saying anything you guys are saying right now, his lawyer gets to say. That's how I think. Okay, like whatever you guys say.
Yeah, lawyer speak was his actions were childish. That's not what I'm saying. His actions
I don't think so,
childish.
dude. You actually think if I was the judge and the lawyer was like, "I'm sorry, sir, he was just being childish," I'd be like, you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like you're being dumb. But I feel like Doc said that's where we're not saying his specific actions in the entirety of the picture is childish.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying that at all.
I know you're not saying that.
But that argument right there is
separate the two things because they're both in this. There's not even a period in the sentence. It's commas. It's commas. One sentence. Forced woman to perform oral sex. Wrapped his legs around her neck and told him to perform more sexual acts. More.
So it actually could have been like while she was performing oral, he wrapped his legs around her to trap her.
Your Honor, I rest my case. So that's what I forgot. He already finished.
But it's still, I would still lean to that's still childish. Like, why would you then wrap your leg in the moment of trapping? Why would you wrap your legs around her neck? Like, that's weird. Like, and you're right. It's a level of darkness to it, probably, where it's like, yeah, Gene, if you knew exactly what happened, you wouldn't be saying childish.
I'm saying when we see a little kid killing little cats, we don't call it childish. But kids kill cats, right? And adults kill. The reason why they grow up to be serial killers.
I say it's trapped because you're like, hey, blah blah blah, come here real quick. I don't even want to.
Come here real quick.
No, I'm not even gonna go down there, dude.
Is that how you would write?
You just got it's too bad. Like,
I think you have a different level of severity for childish than
for sure
than what I do. Because to me, I only say childish when I'm truly upset with somebody, or I'm just like, dude, you're childish. Because it means to me you're a fool.
Yeah, I would agree.
They're both fools.
And it's not like I don't play with that word. Like
I'm asking what part of your definition does the pedophile?
It's an insult. Yeah,
I'm asking what part of your definition does the pedophile not fit that Deshaun Watson's alleged actions?
Wait, pedophile?
The drag queen.
Oh, okay. You're asking to compare.
I honestly say it just because, like, as a kid, like, yeah, you did kind of covet some, pornography in there, but I mean, usually, like, you didn't like.
I did
compile it, like, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't.
Yeah.
Like, actively just like have a collection,
storage file somewhere.
So that collection.
Well, kids probably did with magazines though. Let's be honest. Think about the
listen.
different age.
You're right.
And
you just said my fucking point. You goddamn. So a kid wouldn't have a collection of it because they're a kid, right? So if you got older, like he did, the pedophile guy, he built a collection because he knew more. He was more mature. He was able to do it in more mature ways. He was able to do it in a darker way, right? Deshaun Watson is no longer a kid. So that's why I'm attributing his actions to not a childishness. He's had time. If he's doing it 14,
but it stemmed from a childishness.
But if he's done this 14 times, allegedly, this is
there's a darkness to it. Yeah,
he's been doing it for a long time.
It's an action in his youth that wasn't addressed or corrected and evolved into an adult darkness. But it still stems from
childish. So then serial killers are childish because it stems from stuff that
there could be some actions in the darkness that is childish, like. The entirety of the thing, rape, is dark, is not childish, but some of the actions taken place to get to the actual result of rape could be childish. Like,
but the wrapped legs was part of the.
That's childish.
The whole.
Well, I mean, like, have you ever seen Psycho? The guy who's a serial killer in the movie Psycho, like, he never fully developed. He acts like a child when he's around people, and especially with his mother. But he's a serial killer, and so in a lot of ways, like, that person is childish. But he still is like
killing
Hi, Mom.
people.
How's it going? Like. But he's a fucking serial killer, dude. And he's like, no, they killed my birdie, Mom. Like, he's childish, but he's a fucking killer. Like,
my question is, I don't get how if I take away childish from this, right? Then we don't take it away from the pedophile. But then when I accept the definition for childish for this, we still don't apply it to the pedophile. That's my confusion here.
If we apply it to the pedophile, the only applicable thing in the pedophile situation that you could associate childishness would be the action of collecting porn. That, I would argue, itself is childish. But the porn being children, an age that you should not be collecting.
How did he dress up?
And he probably
dressed up like a drag.
Probably just as a drag, which
also like fairies.
Which is probably also childish.
Well, yeah, that would be childish.
Okay, so I agree then. That's all. That's what I've been saying this whole time. I'm just saying if we use it, we have to apply it to both. Literally, like we can be upset about the application of it being to both, but it does in some way apply to both. If that's the definition of childish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like if he's going around doing this as a unicorn, then yeah, dude, it's fucking childish.
Yeah, he's dressed like a fairy.
Duh. But it's childish.
It's childish. Okay.
But that's not what
you guys okay with that?
So it's just like, if that's
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
The conclusion? They're both childish. They both did childish things.
I'm just confused where this step is going. I'm talking about the action itself of wrapping the legs is childish, and then you're trying to associate a similar. Where can we associate that to suddenly jump of they are childish? I'm not saying that.
I'm saying if you're allowed to take away the wrapped legs from the oral sex.
He's a rapist and the other dude's a pedophile.
If we're allowed to take away the wrapped legs from the oral sex or any sexual acts, we are allowed to take away the kick messaging and all that stuff.
Who's taking anything away?
So if it's together, it's not childish. If it's oral sex with my legs wrapped around you, there's no part of that that's childish. I'm getting oral sex first. That is the primary thing I'm getting. Oral sex. There's no childishness about that. You can say wrapped in leg is childish, but that's because you're referencing it to childlike things. I'm saying I don't think he was referencing it to childlike things. I think that's how he wanted his oral sex to put his dominance on over her, allegedly. That's it. So now, if we're saying the only way it's not childish is if we take out the sexual. I mean, it's childish is if we take out the sex. So, okay, we can keep that as childish. He wrapped his legs around her neck. That's childish. Him dressing up like a fairy, that part is childish.
Is that what it says? Is that what's in the article?
Google it. Google the guy. You see him reading, Google it. You'll see pictures of him reading to the kids. He's not dressed up like.
He's actually, if I remember, he actually isn't part of the what's story time. He's just part of the organization that helps.
Can you Google him?
Actually, here he goes.
So how's he linked to the story hour?
It said it was an organization.
Was the president.
Oh, it's
But was not
Or
involved in
Cream
the
City
operation.
Foundation. Yeah, it said that. Cream
But
City
was not
Foundation.
involved. You're right. But was not
I thought he
involved
was
in
one of the drags
operations
that like read.
No.
That's what I thought.
No, he wasn't part of the drags. No, he was just a part of a foundation that helped organize the whole drag queen story hour. I keep forgetting the name.
Yeah,
But I would argue, a head figure though in the workings of it.
Kids are able to see people who defy rigid gender restrictions and imagine a world where people can present as they wish, where dress up is real. Is he not childish? Is
yeah,
in that part
sense,
of him
in
not
that
childish?
sentence,
In
yes,
that
he is.
sense.
And if the person was wearing a fairy suit and collecting children predatory porn,
But the
then yes,
second
they would
it
also be
stops being childish is when he uses this
To manipulate and deceive and get
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Just like
the moment
when
that leg wrap
the-
stopped being childish is when she started performing oral sex.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was not childish. It can't. The action is together.
So when a child does something similar to another child, because they do this, children do this, just like Doc used a psycho example of a child being a serial killer, do they stop being childish?
Do you think? I'm not gonna answer your question with a question. Go ahead. Repeat it again.
So let's reduce the age. Let's say we got a young boy wrapped his legs around a young girl and forced her to perform oral on him.
That's not childish. You're doing grown up shit.
So it stops
When
being
you go
childish.
to jail, is that like what?
So
what
it
do you-
still applies then.
That's what I'm saying. The action is not childish. Then I don't care who's doing it. Once the oral sex is involved, it's not childish.
But we're not saying the oral sex is childish.
You're saying the legs, so you're
Yeah.
taking them
Yeah.
separate. You're separating them, and you keep saying no. You are
No,
separating.
we just
them.
said yes.
Gene, you said no. I asked you if you're separating them. You said no.
Yes, I'm separating them.
Well, then if you're separating them, you're allowed to separate this part of him from what he did. And my thing is, he did this part so he can do what he did. And he wrapped his legs around the girl so he could get the blowjob how he wanted.
But we're not dismissing the severity of the situation. We're just acknowledging that particular portion of the action was childish.
So this part is childish, and then the part where he actually talked on kick to kids is the dark part, correct? That's what you guys saying?
No, the dark part is he's collecting children being forced upon.
I think the dark part is the fact that he is the CEO of this.
Yeah, I agree with
And-
that.
Okay.
and-
probably is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do you think that
He's
has
got this
anything
going,
to do
yeah.
with him, what he's doing with kids?
Yeah.
Okay. The legs wrapped around her neck had to do with how he wanted his dick sucked. That's what I'm saying.
And
That's
the
his preference
and it's
of how
weird. I guess
And that's not childish. That's what I'm saying. That's a preference. You guys are associating his preference to
I mean,
being
now we're
childish.
assuming it's a preference. Like every time he's done this to all 14 women, he's decided to do them by the leg. In that moment, that's why I guess I go back to the Doc and I saying, I do imagine him probably giggling and laughing or doing something snarky in that moment because he's not doing it. Well, yes, he's doing it to exert a level of dominance, but he's trying to have fun in the moment. And the way to have fun by exerting your dominance is to be childish.
Okay, so I'll
That's why
associate that giggling and laughing with
But it's maniacal too.
that's what I'm saying. Because you're laughing is not childish. Now we're associating
can
laughter
be,
with
man.
childishness. Don't adults laugh?
They do. It's just the situation, I think, like, depending on how you go about it, it can be childish. Like I said, like, in this situation, if you were to inject that this person was doing this in a fucking uniform, in a unicorn costume, then I would call it childish. I would call it evil still, but I also call it childish.
So we're associating everybody who wraps their legs around somebody's neck.
I'm not fucking
That
generalizing like
action, but that action is childish in general. Putting your legs around somebody's neck is childish. That's what the whole thing is about. That's what our whole disconnect is about.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
grown-ass man wrapping his head,
Legs around a woman's neck.
woman or man,
And
it's childish. Even if I didn't play to you, what would you say, dog? You're being childish.
No, I would have fought you. Not because you're being childish, because you're being disrespectful.
And part of being childish is being disrespectful.
I could actually see that, though. Like, if I was to do it and you were like, no, disrespecting me, like, well, what do you can do about it? Huh?
Yeah.
Except if you put your dick
That's
in my
fucking childish, bro. Like,
mouth. Like,
that shit-
I just don't see how we're separating the two things. I cannot see how we're separating the two things at
I mean,
all.
he could have done that. He could have been in the background just monkeying around, being like, well, suck my dick. You can do it, right? Huh? I've actually spoken to men like that, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, Yeah, like, I mean, maybe maniacal is a better word for it if you want to break it down.
So I guess
that,
my question to you is, if you could ask Watson a question about the wrapping of the legs situation, what question would it be? Mine would be, why did you choose to wrap your legs around his neck? I don't know what I would seek. I would just want to see if it helps me get some clarity of whether or not you did this stemming from, like, okay, you're being childish, that choice was childish choice, or it's like, all right, dude, that's deeper and darker. I don't even know if I could associate childishness to that.
I wouldn't question that. Like, I'm not trying to save him.
Well, just for the sake of this conversation, I'm not trying to save him.
I'm just
either.
trying
I
to
know you guys are not. I know you guys are
conversation.
not trying to say. You guys are also not trying to say anything he allegedly did.
To me, the childish remark was literally just a comment. It wasn't like a point of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a point of exit for him to be like, oh, he's just being a boy. Like, you don't know what he did as a kid.
When you use that word, you allow it to be a point of exit. Okay, for example, the guy. Okay, I'll bring in. Forget the tranny guy or whatever it was. Remember the kid? I don't know his name. They said he was too rich to know any better. He murdered somebody. Or he did something. He said he was too rich to not know.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Is that's childish? Because he didn't know any better. As a child would not know any better.
Sure, but that doesn't excuse him getting time off or free. He still murdered somebody. It's just a consequence to your actions, and we're not trying to negate the consequence to the actions. The action itself could be childish, but if the action was childish but resulted in an evil, you still need to suffer the consequence of that evil.
So is there a childish way to kill somebody?
Yeah. I would say yeah.
How? Explain.
If I shot you and then blew a fucking those blow whistles up after I did it, like
the blowing the whistle didn't kill me. You get what I'm saying now?
But in this hypothetical situation, the concept is of acting like a child and having fun within this evil is childish.
And then the evil actually taking precedent.
So the word fun, can it be associated with enjoyment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and is all enjoyment exclusive to children?
No.
Okay, then so what are you saying?
So then anybody can be childish at any point in time for any point in reason whatsoever.
Or that's not childish.
All encompassing.
Enjoyment is not exclusive to children. If you're saying he just enjoyed it, that doesn't make him childish while doing the leg wrapping thing. If you're basing it around the word enjoyment or basing it around the word, what did you say? What is he gaining from it?
I was using an example trying to.
What is he gaining from it that's
I feel like I gotta be
exclusive
careful
to
the words
children?
I say now.
What is he gaining from it that's exclusive to childishness?
A playful.
There's no word because it doesn't exist. But I'll let you. I'm not trying to corner you at all. I
Playful
swear to
evil?
God.
There's such a thing as playful evil. That's why I'm, I guess, still harping on the choice of the legs around the neck. You're putting the legs around the neck because that's why I say childish. Like, you're trying to, I don't know what, be playful. It's your evil way of enjoying the moment, trying to have fun in the moment, because that's what some evil people do, especially if you want to associate the killers. Some people don't just go out and actually kill people. Serial killers stalk the people they kill. They learn the ins and outs of you. They get to know you. Some, like in the documentary, some you watch about serial killers. These people, there's an evilness to it that's underlying a level of, you could argue, childishness or a level of immaturity or something like that. That can be both lean to a level of darkness or to lean a level of innocence.
My point is, there's no. Okay, I'll put it like this: there's childish mentality. There's no childish act. You get what I'm saying? So, like, when you're doing a sin or whatever it is.
I think there's a childish mentality and childish acts.
I mean exclusive to, like, a sin or a crime. You get what I'm saying? So, like he said, I blow a whistle, I kill the person, and then I blow the thing. When I blow the thing, that's me being childish, if you want to say that's me being childish or me behaving like a child. But the act of the killing was not childish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
what
exactly
I'm saying
what
is,
we're saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you can, in my mind, I'm not allowing the separation of the wrapped around the legs and the oral sex. It's one thing to me.
Well, then what's the goal here? I'm just trying to dissect the person. If we're trying to understand the action, the choices, which is where I'm coming from, like that, and I've said this several times, why in that moment did he choose to exert his power, his dominance, his authority, his whatever, to get her to perform oral sex on him? The choice and action he chose was to wrap his legs around her neck.
And you guys said it's because he what? You said, I forgot the word you associated with enjoyment.
I mean, I'm just segmenting the situation in actions as it was
Same. Like that's why I said steps.
laid out.
Steps.
Like, is that
But what I'm
wrong?
saying,
Is that
it's not
evil?
wrong. I'm
Is
not
that-
saying you're evil, but I'm saying it's all one sentence. There's no period.
But
in
that's why
between it.
commas exist, because it's segmented.
Kids. Oh no, sorry, that's the fucking wrong shit.
I went around.
Anyway, it was one sentence. Wrapped around the legs, and then forced to perform more, or asked to perform more sexual actions. It's one sentence. If they said he wrapped his...
I'm confused what you're saying by sentence. It said in the sentence, it just said this is what happened. She was forced, then the comma, wrapped his legs.
Read it.
So, but I'm confused what you're trying to say. It's just saying what happened.
I'm saying it's
Here
one
is.
act. I'm saying him wrapping around his legs and him wrapping his legs around her neck, and the sexual acts are all together. That's what I'm saying. And you guys are saying that's not. That's literally what our whole disagreement is about. That's it. That's what it boils down to. You guys are segmenting it like Doc said, which I don't think is evil or anything. I just disagree with doing it. Then allegedly forced the woman to perform oral sex on him, wrapped his legs around her neck, and told her to perform more sexual acts. So what I'm getting is, boom, boom, boom. I want more.
And I would still go back to why would you choose to wrap your legs around her neck
He already
to get
did this one. Forced the woman to perform oral sex on him. Did this, wrapped his legs around her neck, and told her to perform more oral sex.
I'm still harping on why would you choose to wrap your legs around her neck. That choice itself, I would argue and still do that it's childish.
Okay, so then you're also now saying,
despite the fact that she sucked the dick or not, or was threatened to do something more, the act of choosing to wrap your neck around her legs, or his legs around her neck, is childish. A child would choose to do that in that moment.
She performed oral sex first. So then he went to a childishness, and then he went back to the... It's one fluid thing. Like, he forced her to perform oral sex, allegedly. Okay.
I think the syntax of the sentence itself is explaining, it's just summarizing the action, and then it's breaking it down afterwards with the following portions that it breaks into. So, I mean, for me, I guess you're right. Like, I am generalizing. Like, wrapped his legs around her neck. If anybody does that in any situation, I think it's childish. And so, but like, that's just the way I comment that particular action. And then the following action is not childish, which is the oral sex.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I just disagree, but okay. So if I killed somebody with my legs wrapped around their neck,
I feel like that's a leap. Because if you're fighting for your life and you choose to get him in a triangle and choke him out, that's not childishness.
Why not? You don't associate it with childishness.
He's doing a trained move, a triangle. It's not a childish thing.
People get blowjobs like that.
If that's true, then that's weird. I didn't know that, and
I said it earlier. That's what I'm saying. If that's a technique to kill somebody,
you wrap your legs around their neck while...
Yes, it's a fetish. I've seen it. We can look at it together after this if you want, buddy. I promise you. I promise you. Especially in 2021 when it's all femme.
Okay, with that context, then you're right. It's hard to associate. Then it's a kink. It's a fetish. Okay.
That's it.
I just didn't know that was a thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's weird.
Because if we're...
But it comes back to, like we said, preface earlier. It depends on within the moment. Like, I don't know. It's weird. If it's a kink, then you're right. The kink itself is not childish. Even though you could argue it stems from a childishness, I don't know how you could, but you need more information. I was just coming from the perspective of he just wanted to detain her.
100%.
And in the moment of detaining her, he did something that only a child would do, is I'm going to wrap my legs around your neck and hold you here until you do what I want you to do. That's childish, bro.
I mean, our real disagreement was just how we saw it, honestly speaking. I saw it like in one flow of motion, and you guys literally saw it as wrapped his legs around her neck. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you guys are wrong.
But still forcing your legs around her neck, and detaining her, I would still argue is childish. Even if it's a kink to choke her with your legs while even if that is a kink. If it stopped
there, okay.
Forcing her to do it by doing it, that's I don't know, that's childish, bro. I still say that's childish. Not taking away from the fact that, dude, that's maniacal, that's evil, that's wrong, or any other way to describe it. But since we're hashing out the
Sonya
more
Blade's a
choice
childish,
of childish.
killer then. Sonya Blade's a childish killer.
It's a video game, so I would agree. Honestly, I would say that the act of my mind going to that when I read that and being like, oh, it's like that video game. Like, that's childish. You know what I mean?
Want to know something more childish than that? The fact we had the whole argument based on that video game reference.
This is going to be a crazy title for this episode. I'm not going to lie to you.
Just call it Sonya Blade. We argue about Sonya Blade's finishing move.
Or we can name it like the next episode is Childish.
Actually, I like that. The next episode is Childish as fuck.
Yo, so thanks for watching a clip of FDT. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Tune into full episodes of FDT released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Peace.